What's up guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make a swan out of borosilicate glass. Check out this project, it's great for beginners. Feel free to go to my website revereglass.com or Glass Alchemy to check out this color. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is grab a few colors from the Glass Alchemy collection. We're going to use for this swan some tonic and some brosé. Go ahead and check out my website, Glass Alchemy or Mountain Glass Arts, if you want to pick up some of this color. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is remove a little bit of the end so that if there's any bubbles or imperfection in the glass, I'll be able to remove it. And then I'm going to attach a punty, which is a clear glass handle, and that's going to allow some more stability as I heat up the rod and condense it to make a big sphere. Alright, so I have my torch on. This torch is called a Glass Torch Technologies Mirage, and it has a couple of stages. The outer stage that I'm using right now is big and for heating up larger amounts of glass faster. You don't necessarily need a bigger torch like this. You can do this project on a Lynx torch or any of the smaller torches as well. Alright, so now I'm going to continue to heat up the brosé, which is a really beautiful pink color. It could be used for tons of different stuff. And trying to push this together into like a little ball shape. And then I'm going to remove the end where the punty is attached and remove any excess glass. Now I'm going to heat up the whole thing and smooth it out so that it's a really nice even shape. The next thing I'm going to do is grab my tweezers. These are some step down tweezers. I'm going to pull that out a little bit to make it long, kind of like a football shape. This is a really fun and standard shape to make. It is one of the basic forming shapes for glass, and you can use it for so many different things. Right now I'm going to flatten the bottom, and you can flatten the bottom a little bit now, but we're going to go ahead and flatten it again later. And I'm not pushing too hard on the top, just kind of smoothing it out and making sure that I kind of have the base of where I want it. And then I'll go at the end and make sure that everything's in alignment. Alright, so now I'm going to grab some of that Glass Alchemy tonic. Again, I'm going to remove the little tip, and I'm going to start to add on some glass where one of the wings were going to be. And so I'm going back and forth and adding more and more glass and kind of like starting to shape the wing just by adding the glass in the shape that the wing will be. So I'll keep adding it and bringing it more to the tip. And then once I have all the glass that I want, I can remove it, and then I'll be able to use some tools to flatten it and shape it. So the first thing I'm going to do is just heat up the whole wing, make sure that everything is melted in correctly, and then I'm going to grab it with some mashers, squeeze that down, and these mashers have some indentations which make little lines, and there's a ton of great techniques you can do with this particular masher. And now I'm going to grab the wing, pull it up a little bit, and stretch it out. This is a really great project for beginners, and it's something that you could definitely do to practice and for gifts, especially when you're starting off, or if you've been blowing glass for a while, then this is a great thing to do for gifts or presents for people that you care about. Alright, so I have the wing, and I'm just shaping it to add a little bit of a curve. So I'm going to pull it in and then out a little bit, and that's going to create a nice point, and then also the shape that I want. Alright, the next step is I'm going to add a second wing, and so I'll do the same thing on the other side. I will go back and forth, adding more and more glass as I move up and down the wing, so that it continues to get more and more narrow. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of pre-shaping here, knowing that the wing will be long and pointed. Alright, here we go. Remove the excess glass, and now I'm going to grab with my mashers and then pull with the tweezers. Here we go, pulling it up a little bit, and you can see the wing starting to take shape. There we go. Alright, so one of them is a bit bigger than the other, and that's fine because I'm still removing some of the glass. So I'll remove the glass and try to make them approximately the same size. I'll pull a little bit more off on the end, and kind of getting them close to the same size. All right, putting that in, pushing that together, and squeeze. There we go. All right, so now that I have the two wings on, I'm going to shape that second wing with my tweezers and just pop it out and pop it in a little bit so I can really make a nice fluid shape that has a lot of movement and could look like flight. All right, putting that together and squeezing, just kind of looking from the front and the back, seeing if the wings are approximately the same size and moving in the shape that they want to be. All right, squeeze that again, flatten it out, and then maybe I'll curve it a little bit more. After I put the wings in, I'm going to use the marver again to flatten it, just to kind of keep the shape that I want, and I'll do this a little bit throughout the process. All right, heating that up and putting it on the marver, and that really helps maintain the flat bottom. Now I'm going to attach a clear rod to the end. This is called a punty, and that's going to allow me to heat up the front, which is going to be the neck. So now I have the stability in the back with that clear punty as soon as it cools. And once that's cool, I'm going to use my bigger flame to heat up a larger section of the glass. If you don't have this big flame, you can use your smaller flame. Just kind of hold your glass at an angle so that you can heat up as much as you can at once, and then push it back and pull a little bit in toward yourself. And you can see that now we have the shape of the neck of the swan. All right, now I'm going to remove the excess glass from the swan and be able to form the beak and the features of the face. I'll remove that glass, and now I'm holding everything with the clear punty. I'm going to heat that up a little bit just to make it a little bit thicker right on the head. And then once I have it a little bit bigger, I can grab some orange glass. This is some Glass Alchemy orange crayon, and I'm going to heat it up and pull a little bit just to make the beak. So put it right in the center, heat it up, and then you can attach a little bit of the glass to stretch it out. So I'm going to heat up the beak and stretch it out just a little bit. Now I have some black, which I'm going to use for the eyes, just a little bit on each side, a little bit of black on one side and a little bit of black on the other. And once I get these eyes on, I'll be able to melt them in a little bit just to make sure they're fully attached, and making sure that each eye has the same amount of glass approximately. So I'm just removing a little bit here. All right, and you know, this eye didn't feel like quite on center for me, so I'm gonna remove it and then put a little bit more on, and there we go. So now this feels a little bit better. Put a little bit more glass there, and there we go. So now I have the two eyes on. I'll melt them and check that out from a few different angles. Maybe add a little bit of glass to this one, just a little bit. So here we mostly have the swan. I'm going to heat it up in the Bunsen. This Bunsen was a great collab that Mad Hatter and myself did. You can get this from my website or his. Here we go, just heating it up. And this is a great tool for keeping your work warm while you think about your design or just before you put it in the kiln. All right, so now I'm going to attach a little punty to the beak just to hold it. And this is a really small punty, and this will allow me to remove the brosé, the clear rod on the end, and then I'll be able to add a little bit more tonic for a tail. So I'll remove the excess glass, and then I'll grab a little bit of that tonic and put some on, kind of circle it on and gather a little bit of glass for the tonic, for the tail. And here we go. So now that I have the glass for the tail on, I'm going to heat it up, make sure it's all gathered together. I'll squeeze it again with my lined mashers and be able to pull that out and just shape that into a nice little tail feather. Grab it with the tweezers and pull up a little bit, and then put that back on the punty. Make sure that you don't drop it, and I will heat it up. Touch it with the glass, and this allows it to stretch a little bit. Just pulling out a small stringer. If you get these small stringers, make sure you put those in your water right away. Don't leave them on your desk. Grab the tail, pull just a little bit, and there we go. All right, now I'm just shaping this, making sure that it's the right shape, and you can have fun with this. They can come in many different shapes and colors, so feel free to just experiment, make a few different kinds of birds. Heating up the bottom, and now I'm going to flatten it and make sure that it's going to sit up just right. So I'll put that on the table, put some extra force on there. Careful not to crack off your punty. There we go. I will hold one of the wings with my tweezers, crack off the punty, and there we go. You can see there's a nice little swan. I can go back into my flame and do one final press on the bottom now that I have it off the punty, and I can apply a little bit more force. There's the swan, pushing it down. All right, this is a great project for beginners. Super fun and easy to make, and yeah, I would totally recommend it. If you want, you can do a few little final adjustments with the mini torch, heating it up. I want to pull that beak out just a little bit more. All right. The fun thing about glass is you can kind of keep working it and going it. As long as you're keeping everything warm, you can make a bunch of little adjustments. There we go. There's the swan. I hope you enjoyed the project. Please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to us. If you have the means, please sign up for the online school or sign up for the school on YouTube, and it really helps the channel a lot. Thanks for watching.